What's up, guys? Christian Review Cave here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts on One Piece Chapter 974. And I am so happy right now because this one chapter gave everything I wanted to see once we get back to the present. So, real quick, I'm sorry that I didn't upload this like the day of the chapter release. I had some things, I never really had the time to record the video or the opportunity to. So I'm going to try and do this a lot more often. I'm going to be sure to get back on schedule for the next chapter, hopefully. But with that said, let's get to talking about the recent chapter. And as always, I'll go in order of what happens. So first off, we start off with uh, Kyoshiro. Oh yeah, one more thing. I completely butchered and destroyed the names from my previous review. Denjiro and Kyoshiro. I completely forgot their names as I was doing the review. As you know, I kind of do these reviews non-scripted right after I read them, so I am sorry for that. But anyway, so Denjiro uh, is in fact talking to Hiyori while undercover as the current with her identity, basically saying that it's almost 20 years and that Orochi is kind of really likes her. He is smitten with her, and that they're basically setting things up for the possibility of Yori having to fake her own death by putting well-placed blood packets inside her dress. So that way, if Orochi finds out who she is, or if for some reason he wants to end up killing her, Denjiro, which acting as one of Orochi's head guys, will just slice her down with a well-placed strike, have a bunch of fake blood go everywhere, and then she basically gets to go back into hiding. Which is why earlier on in the story, when Kyoshiro was basically about to, when he was acting like Kyoshiro during the uproar at the Flower Capital in Oroshi's palace, and he was about to kill her, when he asked Hiyori, "Are you ready to die?" She basically says yes. Now we know that's what they meant. And for 20 long years, those two have been planning for the return of Momo and everyone else. After that, we skip to a few months before the current arc, so most likely right after the time skip, right when the time skip occurs, which means uh, when Momo and everyone else end up getting jumped to the future, it was most likely on the exact same time as the Straw Hats getting back together. Again, Toki's time travel powers are still very vague. Just jumps them 20 years into the future, so there's no exact timing as long as it's 20 years. Whatever. So anyway, we get this nice scene with Kaido and Orochi basically talking over drinks, where Orochi's spy basically gave him the information that that the spy and everyone else managed to return to the present, basically saying that his paranoia was kind of justified. For the past 20 years, he was insanely paranoid over not being able to find Momo and everyone else's bodies from the fire. Kaido is obviously kind of skeptic about this because he's like, "Are you sure no one's playing a prank on you? You're kind of paranoid and everything." While he's taking a nice big gulp of alcohol, getting nice and drunk, and Orochi basically just flat out says, "This person, we can trust them completely." A few years ago, when I was planning to destroy the Kozuki and become the Shogun and destroy this country that forsaken me and my family, he found this one person who was part of the Kurozumi clan, whose family were a bunch of stage performers. This person ended up seeing his family sliced down and killed right in front of him during a live performance because of what was going on. And I believe at that time, that was when the Kurozumi were being hunted down due to one of the head family members attempting to kill the Shogun. So when Orochi inevitably saves this person, he basically gives them a role because this person thrived off of playing roles, pretending to be someone, just so he can find himself a decent death. He basically flat out says to Orochi, as Orochi is asking him for help, "I am just looking for a place to die. I will play my role and I will die in that role." And then he gives him a devil fruit. And he basically and then once he got back to Orochi, Orochi ends up saying that this person was in fact became the perfect vassal for Odin. He became someone that would fight for Odin and the rest of the scabbards with no ill intent. And he was even planning to die along with Odin in the boiling oil. And oh boy, this was just amazing. He was, and then Orochi so this basically confirms that there was a traitor among the scabbards and everything. So now we cut back to the present, back to the raid on at the start of the raid of Onigashima, where Momo and the scabbards are assembled at the shoreline. Kin is getting everyone else. Kin and Dogstrom are getting everyone on a little raft so they can sail to Onigashima despite the harsh weather conditions. Momo's trying to tell them to stop, and Kin is trying to put a positive spin on this, saying that with so few of us, there will be no chance of them to detect us so easily, so we'll be able to sneak in and kill Kaido like it's nothing. Even though they know it's not going to be that simple, and for all they know, they could end up dying. Because especially since it's been 20 years since they fought Kaido and his army, and his army just grew even larger, and Kaido most likely got even stronger. So as they start setting out to sail, they begin to wonder, especially Kiku, that there was most likely a traitor amongst them. That despite everything that was going on, their plan was most likely leaked, and there may be a traitor. Kinemon does in fact confirm that this is a possibility that he thought of, but as Kiku was basically saying that if he can't he can't bring himself to find the traitor and cut them down, then they'll never be able to move on or complete their mission. Kin basically up and says that he knows this, but he doesn't want to suspect his allies, his friends, his family, pretty much, because they've been together for a long time. They're all best friends. They've served Odin, and that's essentially why he doesn't want to think of the possibility of any of them betraying them. Not to mention, Camp Viper's still not here with Marco, so they're down a man and possibly an even stronger ally. So yeah, not all the scabbards are there, which is a real shame. But anyway, as this is going on, Chondro ends up confirming that if they can't find the traitor, then there's no point of them moving on. And then the big reveal: Chondro was in fact the traitor the entire time. Now this was honestly a pretty big shock. Now for me, if there was a traitor amongst the entirety of the group, it wouldn't be any of the newer people. Let's just be honest. Most likely it wasn't going to be any of the newer ones, or anyone that stayed in Wano with everyone that stayed in Wano for 20 whole years. So it does confirm the fact that one of the 5 people that were brought back were traitors. Not counting Momo or Kiku, since Kiku stayed and there was no way of them finding Zhao and everything. Which basically narrowed it down to Kin, Kanjuro, and Raizo. There was no real way for Kinemon to be the traitor, though it would have been made an awesome twist. It would have made an awesome twist, considering that I really do love Kinemon. He is one of my favorites of the Scabbards, by far. But taking away Kin, it did kind of narrow it down to Raizo or Kanjuro. And Kanjuro flat out explains every little thing, every little matter of coincidence that has happened to them since they went to attack Kaido back 20 years ago, to when they got back to Wano after being jumped 20 whole years, to the fact that Kaido and everyone was ready to hunt them down, to the fact that Jack managed to find his way to Zhao, despite the only way to go to Zhao is with a Vivre card, or having an eternal pose. So, everything that happened, by pure coincidence, Kanjuro just flat out explains it all. Now that is a traitor gone right. That is the way to write a traitor. I know the whole traitor aspect has been done to death in any kind of work of fiction, even in anime, but still, Oda did it really well. He didn't give any real sense of any of the people being traitors, but he did place a lot of hints throughout the story, purely by matter of coincidence, why Kaido and his allies were able to find out their plans, how they were able to counteract them, find out that they managed to make it to Wano, about the crane, about the meeting place tattoo and everything, Kanjuro leaked everything to Orochi, then Orochi planned accordingly. Everything that was done was made by pure matter of coincidence, but Kanjuro, being the traitor, and with his unique devil fruit, he can do it without any problems. The fact that it basically just up and said what everyone in the story was thinking when Jack attacked Zhao to look for Raizo and not know his exact location was that the only way for them to make it to Zhao was with a Vivre card. So it makes perfect sense that Kanjuro was in fact the one to do it, because despite Raizo being locked up, if Raizo was the traitor, Jack would have been able to find him easily and tried slaughtering the entirety of Zhao. Kanjuro, on the other hand, would have just left the Vivre card at Zhao but not know where Raizo was hidden. That makes a lot of sense. So now going back to talking about what happens in this chapter. After this, Ken basically has enough. He snaps out of it, slices off Kanjuro's head, but the head keeps talking and then disappears, revealing that what was on the ship with them was in fact a painting made by Kanjuro's devil fruits, and the real Kanjuro is back on shore with Momo held captive. Dogstrom even flat out says that the Kanjuro they knew could never draw this well, and that's how perfect Kanjuro's disguise was. As part of his persona and his devil fruit power, he essentially made it his mission to make them believe that he couldn't draw for shit. He drew terrible drawings that were all weird, something like a grade schooler would draw, nothing perfect, so that they wouldn't suspect him being a traitor. This guy was the perfect spy. And the fact that this Kanjuro double was on the ship with them and no one noticed, it shows how powerful Kanjuro's devil fruit is and how great of an artist he really is, which makes it that he could have ended up drawing some kind of animal with a message to go straight to Orochi without anyone noticing or suspecting that it was him that made it, because it would just look like any other animal or insect or whatever. That was perfect. And as they're saying why he would do this, Kanjuro does end up saying that he is in fact a Kurozumi member. He even flat out says that he could have just gone with them and continued the assault on Kaido and just died alongside them. He had no ill intent or hatred towards them. He honestly did see them as friends and brothers. He never hated them. He never despised them. He really genuinely cared about them. But it was part of his role as well. Orochi told him that the act ended right after finding out about the timing and place of the initial attack on Kaido and Onigashima, which basically means that Kanjuro was just lifted his mask. So from that, a few Beast Power members and a giant galleon show up to end up attacking them. And as all seems kind of lost, all of a sudden they get hit by a cannonball in a ship in a distance, and we see Luffy's scar. And then, as they're saying, "Who's there to help us?" As everyone is speculating who is there to help them, who's helping them. Something's coming up from under the water, and it is Law's submarine ship. He basically flats out saying, "Don't underestimate the sea, you damn samurai," stuff like that. And then there is another cannonball that hits the Beast Pirate ship, and it is Captain Kidd. So this was an awesome scene because we didn't know where they were. We didn't know what happened to them. So it's possible that they managed to get out of what was going on. And Kidd even basically says that he's found a bunch of samurai at a different port, looking like idiots, and he almost killed them just so he can make way. Which means he probably brought those samurai soldiers along with him. And then we get this awesome scene where they say, when you go out to sea, you shouldn't expect to fight samurai. When you're at sea, you should expect to fight pirates." And that's how the chapter ends, with a 2-page spread of Law, Luffy, and Kid right beside each other. 3 supernovas, 3 of the worst generation, right at the same time to save Kid and everyone else. So I believe it'll most likely. I believe what I honestly am really happy about this chapter. Not only did we go back to present day, we got the real reveal of the traitor. We got a lot of these coincidences about Kaido and his allies finding the main group and they're finding out their plans. Was all Kanjo's doing, and we get the return of Luffy, Law, and Kid all together to try and take down Kaido. Now, what's going to happen next? Next chapter will most likely be them taking down that ship, getting Kid and everyone on there. Kanjo will probably do something where he will create some kind of dragon or giant winged beast to get him and him and Momo over to Kaido because it was the closest and safest place for them, especially since Kaido is with Big Mom and her crew right now. So I believe the next chapter will start off with Kanjo kidnapping Momo and getting him most likely over to Onigashima, ready for the final battle. Or he could just take him straight to Orochi, and then there would be then the team would end up splitting up. Luffy, Law, and Kid, along with their allies, will go take on Kaido along with most of the Scabbards, as Kin, Raizo, and maybe Kiku go off towards the Flower Capital to rescue Momo and finally take down Orochi. Then we have this. Then we could have a good scene where Momo ends up being the one to take down Orochi. I doubt it, but I don't think he's gonna kill him. Most likely just beat him or something like that. We don't know. All I know is that Wano has been a really great arc so far, and I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm really glad. I loved the Oden flashback. I loved everything we saw from it. But I'm just glad that we get to see Luffy and everyone else again. And I really can't wait to see how this battle is going to end up being. Because we're going to have 3 supernovas fighting off, and their crews fighting off, sorry about that. 3 supernovas, their crews, the Minks, whoever Scabbards are going to be with them. Along with, I feel like Cat Viper and Marco will show up at the last minute to help them out. To fight off against Kaido, Big Mom, and their crews, and maybe some of Orochi's men as well. This will be an awesome war arc. The Wano arc is amazing, and this is really bringing things up for an awesome fight. But the matchups is what I'm honestly looking forward to. But anyway, this video is already long enough. So, what do you guys think? Was this an amazing chapter? Did Oda really deliver with this one chapter alone? I personally did. A lot of stuff got revealed. A lot of stuff ended up being shown to us and happened in this one chapter. And I'm just really happy. And I can't wait to see what happens next. We're in the endgame of Wano country now. So, we'll see what happens next. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave comments down below for what you want me to review in the future. And hope you guys have an awesome day.